HBO Under the Lights is a segment or a series that they've used before in the past. But this time, they're using Max Kellerman, Timothy Bradley, and Virgil Hunter to basically break down Pacquiao versus Algieri in 15 minutes. So you got Max Kellerman, of course, being basically the moderator. And then you have Timothy Bradley giving his experience on how he was defeated and his strategy against Pacquiao. You get Virgil Hunter because Virgil Hunter is basically HBO's #1 trainer. You know, and he's a trainer, so they had to have, you know, Max Kellerman HBO, a former fighter that fought Pacquiao, and then they had to have a trainer. So what they talked about is the strategy on how Chris Algieri can win, and the strategy of how Pacquiao will basically most likely win. Chris Algieri, 20-0 with 8 KOs. He does not have the knockout power to stop Manny Pacquiao. Do I consider Chris Algieri to be a smarter fighter than Timothy Bradley? At this point in time, somewhat yes, because Timothy Bradley, in the second fight in which I covered, Timothy Bradley did not use all of his boxing know-how. He went out there for some reason. He had something to prove. And what he had to prove is he was living off of that Ruslan Provodnikov, and he was living off of the first victory against Manny Pacquiao. He wanted to do something that Marquez did, and he beat Marquez in the biggest, cleanest victory of his career, meaning Timothy Bradley. He wanted to show that I can knock Pacquiao out too. Wrong game plan. So if you don't know, I'm TstreeT Controversies. It's TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Keith Thurman, you know, Kell Brook, HBO 24/7, All Access, Gloves Are Off, you know, whatever. I'm going to say this, my personal opinion, of course, I got Manny Pacquiao defeating Chris Algieri. Chris Algieri likes to hang out on the ropes, and one thing Timothy Bradley pointed out during this episode of during this segment of Under the Lights is that Pacquiao was not the type of fighter that you want to be on the ropes against. Now remember that one point, I forgot what round it was, I believe it was round 7, I don't remember exactly, but you got to go back and watch the fight. It's on HBO On Demand. In Bradley versus Pacquiao 2, where you got Timothy Bradley on the ropes and you got Pacquiao just firing about 8 to 12 punches, you know, and even though he was firing those punches, a lot of them wasn't getting through, but majority of them was getting around the guard, as Timothy Bradley said. And why? Is because Manny Pacquiao uses angles as he's been always known to do. People say, why do you pick Manny Pacquiao to defeat Floyd Mayweather? One is because he throws punches and bunches, and those angles, man, do to hit you with that left, like bam, and then slide over here, and then hit you with a right. Like, it's you gotta watch to really understand and appreciate the offense that he provides, and understand how it would be difficult unless you have some knockout power or some punching power to deter him. It's very difficult to beat Pacquiao. When you look at his most significant defeats, it was against Juan Manuel Marquez. I'm talking about as of lately, over the last 10 years. Juan Manuel Marquez, why? It's because Juan Manuel Marquez had that one punch left in him. Now, it was a punch he's been practicing for quite some time. I'm not going to say it was lucky, but I'm going to say that the stars aligned at that point in time. Manny Pacquiao had something what I call too much aggressiveness. There's levels above aggressiveness, and that level above aggressiveness, only one Emmanuel Dapper-Dran Pacquiao can attain, and it's called aggressiveness. So, what we saw Pacquiao get knocked out. We saw him come back timid against a Brandon Rios. He put on a boxing exhibition. He clearly outboxed him and won every single round. Then you look at the Timothy Bradley fight, where, let's not forget, Manny Pacquiao was the underdog. Timothy Bradley at that point in time, and if you count the fact that Andre Ward has been taken off ESPN pound for pound, that's Dan Rayfield, and I've met him in person. I'm not even going to get into that situation. But if you think about the fact that Andre Ward has been somewhat almost inactive for almost 2 years, basically, we're not counting Edwin Rodriguez, but Timothy Bradley at one point in time, in my opinion, and an opinion of a lot of other fans, that Timothy Bradley was #2 pound for pound. So the fact that Manny Pacquiao defeated him cleanly and decisively, he didn't get necessarily the credit that he deserved. What I'm going to say is, I'm TstreeT Controversies. It's TstreeT Controversy Live of Real Combat Media. Every single fight that I cover, even the full episode of HBO Under the Lights, will be available right on Real Combat Media along with my videos. It's the first link in the description box. So if you're on your smartphone, you're on your YouTube app, just go there and where it says the title, it's going to hit say something that says more. You click more, then you look, it has the whole description, and then it has like links. They'll be highlighted in blue. Click it. Manny Pacquiao was in a situation where for some reason there are like Chris Algieri, despite the fact that he's sleeping in his mama's basement next to a water heater, he's got his own bathroom down there, yes. Despite that he's eating his little toast with his avocado, you know, and his eggs over medium, his pops comes in. We cannot allow, or Manny Pacquiao cannot allow for this guy to get the American dream. And it's crazy because I'm an American, but at the same time we have to look at the greater good. We have to look at what's good for the business. And what's good for the business is for Chris Algieri to be dismantled and then go back to 140 pounds and keep his welterweight title and maybe fight whoever goddamn down there. But at this point in time, Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather must meet, and right now it seems the fight has been the closest that it's ever been as far as Floyd Mayweather fighting, because Floyd Mayweather is running out of opponents, and the media and the boxing world is closing in on Floyd to say, listen, fight Pacquiao, we're sick of you. You got this Chris Algieri motherfucker who's in the way. Chris Algieri is very smart, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Algieri, if you look at his Instagram, Chris Algieri is a nutritionist. Chris Algieri has been doing the same shit today that he was doing 2-3 years ago. The only thing is he has this exposure to try to coax white America into believing in him. Now, boxing, me studying boxing promotions, that's what I want. If I get a guy like Chris Algieri, I'm telling you, listen, I'll have him on MSNBC, I'll have him on CNN, I'll have him at the opening bell of the stock market, I'll have his ass, you know, like with the troops, I'll send his ass over to Afghanistan for a day with high security. I know it'll be expensive, but for a day, to be over there with the troops, I'll have him do an open workout in front of the troops. I'll have him go to the Veterans Hospital. And that's what a promoter does. I'd have him, let me name just an American-ass artist. I'll have him at a fucking Kenny Loggins concert. You know, I'm Chris Algieri, and we taking a Manny Pacquiao. That's just the type of promoter I am. Because that's what you do. You isolate targets, and I'm sure Bob Arum knows, you know, you're not going to have Chris Algieri, you're not going to have Manny Pacquiao on CNN, on CNBC. No, you see Chris Algieri over there like, oh, he's a white guy, he's a boxer, oh, politics, have all those politicians like drooling over Pacquiao. You know, that's what you want. If there's any time for Mitt Romney to show up, remember he was there when Manny Pacquiao got knocked out. If there's any time for Mitt Romney to show up, hell, I'll say Chris Algieri, you go chill with Mitt Romney. That's the type of promoter I am. But moving on, I'm going to be covering the fight live moments after it goes off. I'm going to be covering, you know, actually I'm going to be doing multiple videos on this fight throughout the week. Right now it is November the 16th, 2014, 6:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I am TstreeT Controversy. And this is TstreeT Controversy Live, and I cover boxing. My social media information is in the description box. My page, my personal page, where all the boxers are, the Terrence Crawfords, the Keith Thurmans, the Shawn Porters, you know, I'm not even gonna say any more names. It's too many. You gotta send me a friend request. TstreeT Controversy, TstreeT Controversy Live.